Before we move on to actually adding the ability to sign in with Google, I want to touch on one small thing, and that is colors and theming. So right now I'm using a couple of colors here that I want to make my app theme colors. I have teal and I have purple, and I want to use these colors as my theme, meaning I want to reuse the same colors across my app. So how do we do that within Flutter? Well, it's very simple to do that. We just need to head back to main.dart, and to create a theme, we just need to add the theme argument to material app, and to create a theme we can use a special class called theme data. And there are a number of arguments that we can supply to it. So we can supply, first of all, a primary color value. So in my case I want to make that colors.purple. And note that when picking a color, in order to see what shade it actually is, you just have to hover over in VS Code the chosen color, and you have a number of values to choose from. So what you see here is this purple value, and the ones around it have a color weight, what's known as a color weight. So Material gives to you a number of different shades of that color of purple, and they range from 50 and 100 through 100 value increments all the way up to, I believe, 900. You also see suggested to me underneath here some different accents. So these are variants of purple. So if we scroll even further down, we can see what the default purple accent is, as well as its color weights. And I believe these differ by increments of 300. So you have purple accent 100, 400, 700. And you also have deep variants. So there's a ton to choose from here in selecting whatever colors that you're interested in. And note that when we look at a given color, here on the right hand side, we have the precise color value that corresponds to what shade we see here. And you can provide that to the color constructor. So as my primary color, that'll be deep purple. And for my accent color, my secondary color, that will be colors.teal. So now to use this primary color and accent color throughout our app, we can just save our main.dart file, and then to read from our theme data, you can head to home.dart, and for our linear gradient, instead of having colors.teal going to colors.purple, we can instead say theme.ofContext. If you've built Flutter apps in the past, you know that context is a value that contains a bunch of information, including things like our theme data. So it's a great way to pass around common data in our app, and we can say theme.ofContext dot, and then include any of the values that we've set on our theme data. So we see here primary color, and then we can get our accent color from theme.ofContext accent color. And then if we save that and look at our simulator again, we still have our gradient. I believe I flipped the order of them, but now we have our previous gradient. And note that we don't have to use whatever colors as they're defined right here. We can modify them as we see fit. So there's a number of things that we can do with this color, and we can change it with the help of a number of methods that are provided. Often I found the most effective way to change the shade of a color, often to make it lighter, is with opacity, but you also have these more specific methods that can change the red, blue, and green, as well as the alpha values of the color to change the shade entirely if you like. But we can say with opacity and say we wanted to give our teal color a lighter hue. We could say with opacity 0.2. We see that's much, much lighter. And we can change this to whatever we like. And another approach for using a different shade of the primary color, we can say primary color light, or say primary color dark. But for right now, let's change it back to our original values. And one last thing I would like to suggest is that instead of using primary color here and always getting the same value for colors.deep purple or whatever color you choose to use, I would recommend using for theme data the primary swatch value. Primary swatch sets some custom properties for us, and by default it's going to use different shades of the color that we choose for our app, so we don't have to vary them ourselves. So this is a nice alternative as compared to having to always modify this color manually. Instead, by using primary swatch, we just let our app do it for us. So I'm going to use this as my theme, and if you'd like any assistance in picking out your own theme, your own custom theme, I would recommend checking out the color tool that Material Design makes available to you. So if you head to material.io/tools/color, you can test out different colors for a Material app, and that is the name of the design philosophy for the widgets that we're using in our Flutter apps. You can use this color tool to pick out different shades of colors that use the same system as I described to you with the different color weights. So you can choose a primary color as well as a secondary color. And when you do that, you're given an example application to see how those shades are going to look and whether you want to use the same for your created application.